What you're about to watch will be the most in-depth breakdown of what a modern profile funnel looks like for a content agency owner. So you watching this right now need to pay very, very close attention to this, because what I'm about to break down is basically taking a cold prospect from someone who's never seen you before to a paying client. This is achieved through two mediums: organic content and ads. So we're going to basically utilize the modern profile funnel in order to turn a cold prospect into a paying client that pays you anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. This will probably be the most in-depth, most valuable funnel video you will ever watch as a content agency owner. So pay very, very close attention as I go through this, because you will not want to miss any part of this step. So let me break down first of all where you are right now and where you need to go, because this is you. You've got a page. Maybe you've got some pieces of content. Maybe you've posted 3 to 5 reels up on your feed, but at the end of the day, you don't have anything there for your prospects to actually look at. Maybe you put content marketing in there. Maybe you think that your bio is optimized and you've got your business Instagram account, you've got who you help, you get 2 to 5 new listings per month. But at the end of the day, no one knows who you are. And so this is a visual representation of where you actually are right now. This is you, and this is your prospects and your ideal clients. And you've built a fucking wall between you and your prospects and everything that you actually have right now. You have the proof and authority. You have actionable value that you can share with your ideal clients. You have authenticity and you have social proof. I can guarantee that you watching this right now have at least one of these pieces of content, but you're not sharing it. You're not sharing it enough for your prospects to actually care. And so you've built this fucking wall. And so why would they ever buy from you? You haven't built any sort of content flywheel for them to consume. And so if you're not posting content in today's economy, you're gonna fall behind. You are going to get left behind simply because you are not sharing who you actually are. So why would they buy from you? There is no trust that's been built. Well, let's look at my profile as an example, okay? This is your client's feed. These are all your competitors' feed. And this is me. I share content. I share authenticity. I share actionable value. I share proof and authority, and I share social proof. And so I've built a content flywheel that my clients and ICP consistently fall into. They may miss this post, but they still see this. There's always someone who's consistently consuming my content. And that's exactly what I want. I'm getting them in my ecosystem. But you're not. You're posting once every month when you feel like it. And that is why you will never win in this game of content, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So what do we do? This is how we're gonna get your customer from just looking to I want to buy now. In any given market, there are 3% of people who are in buying mode, okay? Right now, in any given market. So in your market, whether you're targeting tradies, whether you're targeting real estate agents, service-based businesses, whatever it may be, in every given market, there are 3% of people who are in buying mode. If you search on Google, Instagram, you may see ads or content pieces claiming, we create content that converts. You've probably seen all your competitors post this shit. We create content that converts. We'll create you the best social media content. We'll create you 8 different reels. They are directed at the 3% of people who are ready to buy right this very second. That's what those pieces of content are trying to serve. But this is what the problem is with that. Because this is what you may have done in the past, which I'm sure you probably have. This is the problem. The 3% of customers in your industry are then spread out between you and your competitors. So you're left with fuck all. You're left with maybe 2, 3 clients max. And your competitors are also left with no one at the same time. You're left with nothing. You're left with 2 clients who may pay you $1-2 grand. And so now none of you are happy. You're all stuck in this place of disappointment because you can't get any clients. And that's not what we want for you. Here's the key. The key is to capture the other 97% of customers who haven't yet bought or aren't in that buying mode phase. So right now, if we look at this in a graph, 3% are ready to buy and 97% are not ready to buy yet. That's yet. So how do we actually get this 97% of people to go from the not ready to buy yet to the ready to buy? Because when you can shift beliefs and shift their perspective, that is how we get them from ultimately not being a customer to being a paying client in the next 1 to 3 months in a buyer's journey. This is how the whole market actually looks right now. This is the invisible market that no one sees, but is happening every single day. So look at this pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, there are the 60% of people who are not problem aware. And so 50% of the market who aren't problem aware or ready to buy. Sorry, that should say 60. What I mean by this is they don't actually understand they have a problem. So these 60% of people don't actually realize that they need content in order to grow. That's the first piece of content that we can actually break down and shift beliefs. Now there's a 20% who are problem aware. So they know they have a problem and they know they need some sort of predictable acquisition system for their business. So whatever industry you're targeting, for example, let's just say service-based businesses, they know that for their trade business, they need content in order to scale. And so the percentage who are problem aware, meaning they might know they need a content system to grow, etc., but aren't actively researching or looking to buy. They're just the type of people who say, yeah, you know what, like posting content would actually be a really good idea. But they don't know exactly who to actually get help from. Now there's the people who are in the information gathering mode. This is the percentage of people who are in the information gathering mode. And these are the people who are almost Instagram story stalkers, I call them. So they're open to considering such a purchase from maybe you or your competitors. They're just gathering information. And so the reason why I love this saying, the Instagram story stalkers, is because they're the type of people who don't follow you. But when you go through your Instagram story views, they're that business account that will continuously keep looking at your story. What's this guy up to today? They're the type of people who are in this mode. And then there's the buying mode. There's the buying now mode. These are the 3%, the percentage who are interested in buying right in this very second, today. And so the goal here is to move these potential customers down the pyramid faster. We want to take someone from not problem aware all the way down to buying now in the next, ideally, 1 to 3 months. Ultimately, the way I see a buyer's journey is when someone sees your content, and the second they see it, from that day until the day they buy, that is the buyer's journey. And so for some people, that's 3 months, 6 months, even 12 months, depending on how much trust you actually build in your content. But the way we do this is by creating certain pieces of content that shift beliefs, that break down objections. Because when we do that in your content, it starts to make these people question their decisions. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we do need content sooner rather than later. Maybe this is a decision we need to make today. And so then we slowly start to bring these people down, day by day. And the shorter you can actually bring down that buyer journey from maybe 12 months to 6, then going from 6 months to 3, when we can shorten that buyer's journey, that's exactly what we want for this type of business. The sooner a client can buy, the more cash flow we have coming back into the business, and therefore the more money we can spend, or even the more time we can put back into organic content, spend on ads, all that sort of stuff. We want to just continuously keep putting money back into the business. We're running a cash flow business here. So we want to make sure that when the other 97% of customers become ready to buy, they've already decided to buy from you. That is very important. Because right now they may have not decided to buy from you. But through their buying journey, we want to make sure that you are the person that they work with. Because it's all well and good to put all this content out there. But if they consume all your content, but they don't end up buying, all the content you posted was wasted. And you spent all this time for no reason. But that is why organic content is the most powerful platform that we can use to basically take someone from not problem aware or even problem aware down to buying now. That is what we need to do. How do we do that? Now you guys probably already know the answer of this, and this is what we do for our clients. So why are you not doing it for yourself, or why do you not even understand how to get predictable client acquisition through your content for you? So that's what I'm going to teach you moving forward. We're going to get these clients through videos and content. Those are the two main mediums that we use as a content agency, building a personal brand to ultimately attract these sort of clients. So this is probably what your competitors are posting, because I see this all the fucking time. 5 reasons your content doesn't convert. Our content packages, who we work with, all this shit that I just call it's just salesy bullshit. It really is. Like, you're just talking about you. No one gives a fuck about you. To be frank, no one actually cares. You need to give people a reason to care about you and what you're offering. The people that post this sort of content think that talking about their service and what they offer is a strategy. But in 2026, and it has been this for a very long time now, we need to sell using the outcome. A business owner doesn't care about 8 reels. A business owner cares about generating 10 to 20 new leads in the next 30 days. And we can do that predictably through content and paid acquisition, paid ads. But how do we do that? We need to give people a reason to care about what you actually do. So this is what your competitors do, which we don't want to do. This is what I want you to do. We basically want to create content that is almost like, the way I like to look at this is public service announcement information. So what's that actually look like? Warning, don't create another reel until you watch this. What you don't know about creating content that's costing you thousands of dollars. Tell me that doesn't grab your attention. And now it doesn't feel like you're speaking to this group. It doesn't feel like you're speaking to the buy nows. Because you know what? This is what the competitors are doing. They're speaking to the buy nows, who we work with, our content packages. The only people that they're speaking to are the people that are actually problem aware and understand what you do. But these people, however, you're adding awareness, because every single person in your entire funnel, you see, may be posting content. So therefore, we're now speaking to that whole total addressable market. That's who we want to be talking to. We don't want to just be speaking to your ICP, because your ICP who are ready to buy at this very instant are only this, but your total addressable market is fucking huge. And it's a massive opportunity in your market that you're missing out on. And so that's why these pieces of content are so important. We're going to touch on content entirely and exactly what pieces of content I want you to post, but I'm just making you aware of this problem. Because you may even be doing this right now. Just sharing what you do, your service, who we work with. You're probably even posting finished project reels, but none of that shit sells. You're not solving a client's problem by posting your recent finished project. It's all horseshit. It doesn't mean anything. Your job in your content is to shift beliefs of the 97% of prospects from not buying right now to ready to buy. Those are the shifts we need to make. And so I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. We're going to do this through organic content, but what are we going to post? Okay, let's first understand how we need to optimize your profile to grab attention and speak directly to your ICP, because we want to bring people in with this sort of content, but then from there, we need to get them to understand exactly who you're speaking to, because they may not even be your ideal clients. That's okay. Because with organic content, the game is always you're going to always attract more people than what you may want. Every single one of your followers isn't going to be your exact ICP who is in that exact revenue bracket or whatever sort of metric you measure this by. But that's the game of organic content. That's natural. But that is okay, because we can start to qualify your new followers by having a very optimized profile. So what's this look like? Well, let me break down my client Jai, okay? This is Jai's profile. Now, Jai works specifically with barbers, and he helps barbers grow and scale their personal brand. And so this is exactly how we've optimized his profile to be speaking directly at barbers and how to actually grow their personal brand. So firstly, let's just touch on his profile picture real quick. Make sure your profile picture just looks professional, you're smiling, you're well lit. This is pretty self-explanatory, but I know a lot of people in this industry who just don't have a clean profile picture. This framing is honestly perfectly either a side angle or you're just looking straight down the barrel of the lens. That's it. That's all you need to do. Just make sure you have a clean profile picture, because profile pictures build a lot of fucking trust. Now, how do we want your bio to look? Well, I want your name to be here. And then next to it, I either want your business name or something like video marketing, content creation. Just your full name and what you do. Because it speaks directly to who clicks on your profile instantly. Now we want to break down who you help. So one person, one pain, one outcome. Name the pain they're in or the result they want / the mechanism that you use. So we can use something like helping businesses turn content into consistent inbound leads. We can get even way more specific than this. Helping barbers become the authority in their space, utilizing their personal brand. Or even if you want to get even nicher, because Jai works with people all from around the globe. But if you're very comfortable with working people inside your city, I help, for my case, I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. I help Melbourne, let's say service-based businesses, let's even go even niche than that. I help Melbourne tradies get clients using my tradie content flywheel. Now they're thinking, okay, this mechanism sounds really interesting because it's speaking directly to me. It's got my name in it, tradie. Like that's exactly what I do. Also, this guy's based in Melbourne. This guy's speaking directly to me. Okay, I want to consume a little bit more of this guy's content. That's what piques interest. If you have it extremely broad, I create content that converts. Who the fuck are you speaking to? You're not speaking to anyone specifically. The riches are in the niches in this game we're playing. And so we want to be so specific with who we're speaking to. Unless you're at the top of the food chain, unless you're the Alex Hormozis and the people who are very well known, who can pretty much work with any business now, we're not at that stage yet. But that is okay, because there's still so much money to be made in the niches. Here's another example. I help niche, let's just go with the tradie theme. I help tradies turn their Instagram into a sales machine. If you want something broader, if you're maybe running more of a done with you model, where you're just creating the content systems for people all around the world, you can run with something like that. Now, in here, we want to make sure that we have some sort of social proof. So I'd put it in this sort of section here. Jai hasn't done this, but we want to basically almost flex a little bit with what you've been able to achieve for your clients. Because as soon as you add social proof and credibility, it gets people to think, okay, I have a reason to actually listen and care about what this guy has to say. Because when there is no credibility in social proof, no one has a reason to give a fuck. If you haven't said, I've generated X amount for my clients, if you haven't said, I've generated 500 million views for my clients, whatever it may be, whether it's in the metric of views or dollars, that's what people care about. Anything else is genuinely just noise. Coming down, we need to make sure that we have some sort of CTA, some direction that your prospects / ideal clients need to take if they want to work with you. Because if they've got nowhere to raise their hand and say, okay, yeah, I want to work with Jai, I want to contact him and ask him maybe a little bit more about what he does, or ideally, your content is so dialed in that they're pre-sold, they send you a message and they want to buy. But make sure you have a CTA in your bio. DM me leads, keep it very simple. DM me content, DM me organic, DM me whatever it may be. The word doesn't really matter, just keep it short to see how. That's it. And then we want to have a link in bio that is so optimized and it's just one link. So I always push for all of my clients that I work with to make sure they have a YouTube link. Because when we can push them onto long form with your client testimonials, client interviews, all that sort of stuff, it's just another proof building trust asset that we can send them to. And then those hours of content that they consume from you just keep getting stacked up. That's what we want. And so YouTube is a whole nother beast, but we won't touch on this. We won't touch on this today in this video because we can still generate a shit ton of leads directly from your Instagram profile. So that's how your optimized profile should look. Very simple, very clean, and honestly, nothing too crazy. But Jai has gone from, he went from 100 to 1,000 followers simply by following these organic content steps that we use. He didn't even put $1 into ad spend, and he was able to generate 50 to 100 leads from one piece of content. Coming back to content, what pieces of content should we post here? What do I post? What do I actually do to attract my ICP? Well, we need to look at the funnel. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. So the way I like to see these pieces of content is when you're looking at top of funnel, you're attracting, like we were talking about before, that whole total addressable market. We're talking to everyone here. We're using pieces of content that are so broad, but we can also niche down on to still qualify our ideal clients. Now your middle of funnel content comes through in your case studies, even you breaking down your mechanism. So how are you different from your competitors and what does that process actually look like? And then your bottom of funnel. So your most aware buyers. This is where we can post your client interviews, client transformations, the results, even some sort of my story video. These are all great to be able to get those people who are already in your ecosystem, the people who are almost in this stage. They're in the information gathering mode. They're looking at your content. They're seeing, okay, is this guy trustworthy? Should I buy from this guy? That's what this piece of content's doing, this bottom of funnel piece of content, to get them into that 3% and think, okay, I need to take action today. So what pieces of content should I post, Jack? I don't know what to post. I do this for my clients, but I don't really post content for myself because I don't have enough time. I hear it all the time, all right? We're gonna solve this problem. Top of funnel. These people are unaware, or maybe they're problem aware. Now we post some sort of reaction videos, ranking formats, or hero figure breakdowns. This is what Jai utilized. So how do we do this? We do this in the format of green screens. Here's Gary Vee, and here's my client Jai. We wanna speak over hero figures or trending current events. So how do we do this? Well, what Jai did is he used a hero figure in his ICP's world And he used that to his advantage because everyone knows this guy in the barber space, Sam Rascals. Everyone knew Sam Rascals is a world famous barber. So Jai just authority hacked this guy and spoke over the top of him. How has this guy built such a powerful personal brand? And then he utilized his system to be able to authority hijack Sam Rascals. It was fucking brilliant. So why does this work? It's because we're borrowing virality. We're leveraging other creators or trends, and we're using authority to overlay over our content. So the pro of this is it's gonna have a lot of larger impressions, but it's not gonna be great for conversions. That's the only thing about these pieces of content. However, that's also contradictory because Jai did attract a lot of ICP from this piece of content, but he also did attract a lot of non-ICP at the same time. So still a great piece of top of funnel content, don't get me wrong. So the next piece of content that I'd create here is more of a step-by-step breakdown. So what Joel and I did was we sat down in the car and we pretended to have a conversation. Joel asked me a question. Jack, how would I scale my content agency back up to $100,000 a month in the next, I think there was a time frame, in the next 6 months or whatever. Then it feels more of a conversation rather than a talking head piece of content. Because it looks like you're getting insider insight into a conversation that you're not even supposed to be there for, sort of thing. That's the whole vibe of it. When the camera's there, it feels like this camera's sort of secretly positioned here. Maybe this guy's gonna talk about something that I don't actually know. Why does this work? It's because it's speaking about middle of funnel topics in a top of funnel format. It's easy and actionable for someone to feel like they can do something today. Because when someone can feel like they can consume a piece of content, and then in the next, I like to use the rule, in the next 1 to 2 hours that they can take immediate action, that's what's gonna make someone think, okay, that piece of content actually was really, really valuable. I wanna do something about this. But that's why people will always continue to come back. So what are the pros? It's gonna attract specific ICP. You will attract your ICP with this, but it's also gonna attract the broader TAM once again. There's gonna be a lot of people you attract with this, but if you do it right, it will attract a very qualified ICP. So now moving on to middle of funnel, these people are solution plus product aware. So they understand what you do, but they may not understand how it actually works and what it looks like. So what sort of pieces of content should we post here? Mechanism breakdowns. These are fucking gold. Because when you can break down your mechanism so specific to what you do and the actual step-by-step system that you use to take your clients from A to Z, they're gonna think, okay, this guy's sharing a lot of value. I understand what this guy does. I'm starting to trust this guy a little bit more. And that's when they start moving themselves down the funnel by themselves because of the pieces of content that you're posting. So let's look at a mechanism breakdown. What actually is this? We wanna walk through your systems, your dashboards, the processes that you use live. So what I did is I used my client and talked about the exact breakdown that I used to scale him from 100 followers to 1,000 without ads and attract a shit ton of ICP followers. That is what I did. And so why does this work? It's because when someone watches you pull apart a real system that they can't replicate on their own, you start being the person that they need. And so the reason why I love this piece of content is because it's the best format to sell your method. It's not what you do, it's how you think. And that's what people are actually fucking paying for. And that's what I keep saying time and time again. People aren't paying for your content. They're paying for your knowledge on how you can scale their business with content. But what are the cons of this? You have to do some scripting, okay? No biggie, it's not the end of the world. But mechanism breakdowns are fucking so great. Break down the system you use and the process of what that actually looks like. You're gonna build a shit ton of trust. Mechanism breakdowns, fucking gold. Now we wanna still make sure that we're building a personal brand and making sure that we're sharing stories, sharing insights into your life. Because we want people to also buy into you. That's the whole point of posting organic content. If someone doesn't trust you and all you're posting is value, which is honestly what 70 to 90% of people out there right now are doing, is they're just posting value. But why would I trust that guy when I know that Jimmy down the road also likes cars? He also likes traveling the world like I do. Who am I more likely to buy from? Jimmy, who I relate to, or John, who just posts value-based content? And it's still really valuable, but I don't relate with him as much. Who am I gonna buy from? And this is what your competitors are doing right now. They're sharing themselves and their life and what they do outside of just content. That's what's gonna make someone buy into you. So that's why Raw Talking Heads is so powerful. Sit down and share stories. I shared a story about 2 years ago, what I was doing and how far I've come on my journey. That related with a lot of people. I've even had a piece of content that I posted about traveling with my family. And that actually got me a paying client because I shared myself and my life. And he's like, I really related with you being able to hang out and spend more time with your brother. Like I do that all the time. I spend so much time hanging out with my brother. We have such a good relationship. And that got me a client. So me spending time with my family and creating a piece of content for it had a positive ROI. So that's what you need to do. What actually does this look like though? It's storytelling or teaching. Just you and the camera, that is it. Nothing builds trust faster than someone talking straight at you with nothing to hide behind. Because when you're sharing more of your life, people's guard drops. They start to think, okay, this is actually a normal guy. I like this guy, I trust him. I really believe in what he's offering. And so the pros of this is it turns viewers into prospects better than any format, and people decide if they actually like you. The downside is you can't fake this. The rule is to be yourself. So the format actually rewards people who have actually lived something worth saying. The values you actually stand behind, and the lessons that only land because you went through it yourself. That's what's so powerful about this format. I fucking love Raw Talking Heads. So now that your prospects have gone down the funnel, they've gone through the middle, top of funnel, they're at the bottom. They just need that little bit more trust to buy from you. How do we do that? These are the prospects that are most aware or who are ready to buy. That's where they are in the funnel. They are close. Ideally, that is a 4-week period. At most they should be. How do we get them to buy? Client interviews, transformations. How do we do this? A client interview breakdown showing exactly what you did with your client. Now, what's this actually look like? Well, I always urge my clients to film a long form video, basically breaking down the whole entire process with their clients. But we also like to film a short form video with more of the mechanisms you use with your clients. So we can actually use this as a pinned post. Your client interviews, it's such a great post to have at the top of your profile. And what's this look like? We want to basically walk through exactly what changed from when they came to you, where your clients were, and then where they actually are now. Where they were and where they are and how you help them. So why does this work? Because this is proof you can do what you say. And the person watching a 20-minute breakdown of how you took someone from 5K to 50K isn't searching, they are deciding in you and your service. So this is more for a long form format, but what we can do is make this into a 1-minute video, basically breaking down the mechanisms that you use. That's why this is powerful. Now, the pros of this are the people who watch these are already close to buying. You're not convincing strangers, you're closing warm prospects. The cons is it's gonna get you low reach, but at the end of the day, we don't care about getting millions and millions of views. Reach isn't the goal here. Conversions are. And that's what these pieces of content do. Client interviews, that's what you need to post at the bottom of the funnel. Even more just like raw formats, you sitting down with, maybe it's a montage of you sitting down with 5 clients and they're all saying good words. That is bottom of funnel content. And that's what's gonna get people over the line to buy with you. An organic content funnel that leads with conversions and gets people to slowly go down your funnel from top to middle to bottom to ultimately becoming a paying client. Now, we've all heard ads. We all know that ads are so important in the game we're playing. Jack, I just wanna run ads. Okay, well, if you're solely just gonna run ads, click off this video right now because you need to be posting organic content. That is a must in 2026. This is where the trust is built. This whole system here is where the trust is built. Because you can run an ad without having any content running to your page. But the problem that you're gonna face every single time is your cost per client is gonna be fucking so high. Your CPA is gonna be so high. And that's not what we want. We want people who are already in your ecosystem, who already know, like, and trust you, to just get that little bit more of a kick, to get them over the edge and buy from you. So that's when paid ads come in. We don't want to just work and rely solely on paid ads because your cost per lead even is going to be way higher than if you've already got a base of organic content. And so that's what I'm going to show you right now. Paid ads. There are 3 ways we can do this. I'm going to run you through 2 different systems that I use because if you're posting organic content, you don't need to run an insanely large funnel. What does this look like? We're either going to boost pieces of content or we're going to retarget them. So boosting pieces of content looks something like this. We're gonna use your best content, almost like your outlier pieces of content. Anything that has 5x the amount of views of your follower count, that's what I consider as a best performing piece of content. So we wanna just boost these posts. We wanna boost something like this. This was my client Serge. He basically just had a conversation with one of his clients and his client was talking really well about him, but we use the format where they're just having a conversation. It doesn't feel like a salesy piece of content. So this almost goes from a bottom of funnel piece of content to almost like a middle of funnel because it's more of a conversation. It doesn't feel like the prospect's being sold to. But this is the best part about this. Your clients they're doing the selling for you. I fucking love when clients do that. So we wanna actually boost your best performing reels. Whether it's you talking to a client, talking about the results, something like this. Or even, I love this, the result-led stories. Just running story ads. Because they've already seen your profile, they know you, they like you, but they just need that little bit more trust to get them over the edge. Or even pain points. I haven't put any examples here of this, but basically start with their pain point. This may be in the format of just a regular talking head, or maybe your client is mentioning where they were and the pain they were facing and how you were able to solve that. Because if they feel some sort of pain that they're in and they can relate with that, but this person got out of that, they escaped that pain, that's what's gonna get your clients over the edge. So there's gonna be a bigger audience with this when you're boosting a piece of content, but it's very simple. You don't need to run this on Ads Manager. Just go onto Meta Business Suite and run this as a boosted post. It's that simple. If you're targeting people in your city, target people in your city. If you're working with people all around the globe and you're running more, once again, of a done with you offer, where you're just helping people with the content systems, then your targeting should be to the big four: Australia, Canada, US, and the UK. That is it. When you're targeting the big four, they have a lot more buying power, and boosting these pieces of content are really great. But we want to make sure that your audience are in these sort of areas. And so the best part about boosting these pieces of content is it's easy, first of all, but you don't have to put a lot of ad spend into this. I recommend anywhere from 10 to 20 a day. You can run this for even, I recommend like at a minimum 2 weeks, but I run it from 2 to 4. I also don't like to cap it in a time frame, because Meta actually takes a little bit to understand what ads are actually converting better than others. And it takes a little while to find and get your profile to be optimized for that ad. So I give it a little bit of time. Don't have an end date. You can just end it yourself, but run it for a minimum of 2 weeks. I guarantee that this will perform really well, and you're gonna get a lot of ICP followers if they aren't already in your ecosystem. But at the same time, this will attract more people to just constantly get into your DMs. That's the whole point of this. We want people to just going on your profile and sending you DMs. That's where I'd convert these new people who are seeing these ads, or that warm audience. Now, we can also run a retargeting ad where we can have a warm audience currently already. And these people who have already seen you, we're just showing proof. We're just consistently showing proof and just getting in front of our audience again. How do we do this? Case study clips, client transformations. This is my client, Pancho. I ran this as a retargeting ad. And basically what I did is I just showed the transformation I took him through. But when someone sees this, once again, it just starts to build way more trust. I ran this as an ad where I was just speaking more face to camera, and I just ran through client testimonials and results. Like, that's what I did. And then also my client Jai here, this is where he sat down with his client and he ran this as a landscape ad. And this also performed really well. It was more of a different format. It looked natural. It didn't feel like an ad. And that's what you need to remember when you're running these sort of ads. Your organic should do 80 to 90% of the qualifying, and these ads should just get people over the line. Because you realistically shouldn't be spending a shit ton on ads, because you shouldn't have to. Your organic should do the qualifying, should get people in your ecosystem, and the ads just push people over the line. That's the best part about this. Now, what does that system actually look like though? Once they're in your ecosystem, once you have them as someone who is in your following, maybe they've sent you a DM, how do we work around that? What do we do? Because it's all well and good to have all these ICP followers, but what do we do to get them to convert? And this is all part of the profile funnel. We get them in the DMs by simply putting either CTAs on your story or making sure that we message new followers. Message every single one of your ICP followers as soon as they follow you. Speed to lead is key. Because when we can spark a conversation in the DMs very quickly, most likely they're active, they're already on Instagram. That's it, we can start having a conversation. Don't dive straight into business, but we want to just start slowly qualifying. Build some rapport and then move more into a business conversation. And this is more of the qualifying and unqualifying stage. We really start to see where our prospects are at. Maybe they don't have enough money to invest. Maybe their business isn't big enough for us to work with them. Whatever you deem as qualified for your ICP, this is the system and the strategy that we use here. The main point of this stage is to qualify people and get them to hop on a call. We can set up all these landing pages, we can set up a VSL. That is all well and good. And yes, I do teach that. But at the same time, I want to make it as simple for you as possible to get someone to just become a follower and go to a paying client. And this is how we do that. We don't need all of these 10-step funnels, okay? We can do this simply from a profile funnel without having the need for a landing page and a VSL. Now, once you've qualified your prospects and you've said, hey, John, I think I'm able to help you. Are you down to hop on a 15, 20-minute call? That's when we hop on the call, that's when we pitch. And that's when we either hop on the sales call and maybe you find the people who are non-buyers, or you find your buyers. And so in short, this is the buyer journey. But they're going from unaware to problem aware. They start to understand, okay, they've got a problem. Now they're solution aware. They start to see your solution, what you offer. Then they're product aware. Oh yeah, Jack actually has the modern profile funnel. I want to be able to utilize that. And then they're most aware. Okay, I know Jack has this thing and I know I need it. I need to take action. That is the whole buyer's journey. And this is something that can be broken down into 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. It really depends on how dialed and optimized your marketing is at the end of the day. If your marketing is dog shit and you don't have any pieces of content and you have nothing for your prospects to consume, this is gonna take a lot longer. This is going to take a hell of a lot longer for your prospects to actually want to buy from you. But when you can really break down these pieces of content, use content ideas from sales calls and objections that you keep hearing from your potential clients, those are all great pieces of content. Oh yeah, Jack said he didn't have this thing involved. Break that down in a piece of content, whatever that may be. Whatever objections, whatever frequently asked questions that you keep hearing pop up over and over and over again, they are great content ideas because it breaks down every single one of these phases. And that's the best part about content. You're just continuously objection handling before the sales call so they can get on a call and be pre-sold and want to buy it. And ideally, you just close them in the DMs, which we did the other day. And it was fucking great because they saw our content, they liked us, they trusted us, and they wanted to buy. The buyer's journey is when you're going to break down and actually attract ICP followers. You're going to get inbound DMs who genuinely want to work with you. And that's when you know your profile funnel is converting. And that is the whole system. That is it from start to finish. And don't just take this from me. Take this from my clients as well. For example, Nelson, he cracked a 51K month and now he's working in Thailand and we scaled him from 5K to $51,000 in a single month. That's fucking crazy. Or even Mark, he closed a 10K client the other day just from fixing his positioning alone. He didn't even post that many pieces of content, but we just dialed him in with a profile that was optimized. We ran one of our very basic ads and he got a 10K client on the back end of that. Like that's what a fucking good system should look like. Even Jai closed a 20K client and he started at nothing. He literally started at nothing. I mean, he's working with the barbers, which we were talking about before. All of our clients are fucking crushing it. And that's the best part about our system. We're using a profile funnel. Everyone is on fucking Instagram. Utilize the shit out of this. All my clients are winning because we understand how to use a funnel that actually converts. You can go listen to the guy that's just going to talk about paid ads. But actually listen to someone who posts organic content and understands this game so well and is doing it themselves. Because so many people out there claim to be posting organic content, claim to be converting their audience, but their content isn't even dialed in. They don't actually understand what an organic content system should look like. And that's why they'll never be able to build a modern profile funnel that actually converts, because they don't understand content well enough. So I really hope you actually took something away from this video, because when you do this right, you are going to attract a lot of fucking ICP followers and you will make a shit ton of money off this. This is one of the most valuable videos you will ever watch about a profile funnel for your content agency. So don't take this lightly. Take this video like you just paid $10,000 for it, because that's how I want you to treat this. Please follow every single step in the system, because when you do this right, you can make 10 to 20K in the next 30 days from simply following this profile right. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really wish to see you guys fucking crush it and make some money and ultimately want to work with me in the future, because that's why I'm making this video. I want to see you guys win, but I want to see you win even fucking more. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll speak to you soon.